Hi, this is Vijay from Vijay Design, where I help small businesses improve their online presence. In today's episode, we're going to have a look at how to create a landing page like the one you see on screen. This is where I'm trying to sell my services as a web developer and a web designer. And as you can see, it's a very simple page where all kinds of distractions have been removed. So it's a clean landing page, and we're going to learn how to build a landing page like this one, but without using any plugins, and we're just going to use the standard WordPress block editor, otherwise known as Gutenberg. Now, let's get started. I've got a test site here. Let's jump in and try and create a page like that landing page. The very first thing I want to do is highlight. So go to the dashboard of this particular site, and as we can see, when we go to Appearance Themes, I've got the wonderful Generate Plus theme running. Further, when we go down to Plugins and check out Plugins, Generate Plus Pro comes in the form of the premium plugin that I've activated and configured as well. Let's go have a look at how to configure those settings. And they're all available. All these configuration settings are available through Appearance Customize. So you can go to the Theme Customizer, which is where Generate Plus provides all kinds of customization options for us. One of the first things we're going to do once we get there is to check that we have layout defined properly. And as you can see, when I get to the header and the container in particular, I've set my content width. We're going to fix this separating space because this is going to create a space at the top of our site which we don't want. We're going to reduce that separating space to 0. Right? That I noticed was going to create an issue for us later on. Further, as we can see from the way this site is set up at the moment, you have full control over the colors as well. One thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go change the background color to white. Again, for this theme, I've set up some default colors. I'm going to choose background color of white, which ensures that my entire site is nice and clean. These are the two settings. Further to that, another setting that I've changed is I've set a nice button colors, button backgrounds, and a hover effect for the buttons. You'll see them in action when we start creating the actual landing page. I'm going to publish these settings and save them. And that's enough of customization. There's a whole heap of customizations possible, as you could see, but we're just going to cover all these for now. Next step, we're going to go to add a new page, which could be done either through Pages, Add New, or you could just go New Page from the top bar. All right, now that we've added a page, let's give it a title, and we're going to also take care of the URL. Now, for a landing page or for any page that matters, you need to create custom titles as well as, but at the same time, try and keep the URL short and relatively quite useful for people to type in. So what we're going to do is just call this Why Hire Vijay, and there's our title. And as a first step, we're just going to quickly click on Save Draft. We're not going to publish it. We're just going to save draft for now. Now what this does, as soon as it's saved, if I click into the title, I can see that there's a URL or the URL being created here. Now, we need to clean this up because I don't want to leave question marks and things like that behind, and I need to have like a nice and clean URL. I'm happy with this. Why Hire Vijay? This is a nice clean URL. I'm going to hit save on that. And with that, I've set up my page title and the URL the way I want. Now, at a later stage, we're going to hide this title and present something else on the landing page for the user. This will show up in search engines, more like. All right, next step. So do realize that these document settings are only available when you have the title selected. If I click anywhere, notice that I now get block settings for a paragraph, which is the default block. And this is the way that block editor works in Gutenberg in WordPress now. So the first thing to do, let's do some settings and take care of some vital settings for this particular page. Now, the rest of your pages could be different, but because this is a landing page, I'm going to go and run through certain steps to ensure that all distractions are removed. Let's have a look at how this landing page looks before we make any changes. Let's go click on Preview to see how this page currently looks. Not bad, but as you can see, quite a lot of distractions here from these menu icons. I could have a logo here, I have menus here, also have my sidebars and footers and footer links. There's quite a bit of things happening here. Why don't we actually run through to see how we can remove all these distractions. GeneratePress provides these features, so does Astra. So let's have a look at how to set up some of these features. The first thing I'm going to do is scroll down to the layout section. Now, if it is hidden, you can expand this section. This is available because I have GeneratePress Premium, GP Premium. So the first things I'm going to take care of under layout is obviously sidebars, as it says here. I'm going to say I want content with no sidebars. I want to go to footer widgets, and by default there are 3 footer widgets in GeneratePress. So if you notice, there's 1 footer widget here, there's another space for another, and the third one. These are all in the footer. So what we're going to do is we're going to hide all those footer widgets. The next thing we're going to go through is do a series of disabling elements. This is where GeneratePress shines. We're going to hide the top bar. We're going to hide the header, the primary navigation, the secondary navigation, the featured image, the content title. As you can see, the content title could be hidden or shown. And finally, the footer. So with this done, we're just going to do a quick save draft and preview again. Much cleaner. Now we have a plain canvas to work with. Now, before we get started, let's also look at the page builder container. I'm happy to leave it to the default, which is basically contained. Again, if you are using a page builder, you could use the full width setting to set up your page builder. That could be Elementor or any other page builders available on the market. But since we are not going to use any page builders, I'm happy to leave it to the default, right? Let's save draft once again. I'm going to quickly paste. Do notice that I have a paragraph block which works perfectly fine for this. I've just copied some content from a text pad. I'm just going to paste that. All right. Notice that by default, it's just putting them as several blocks. I'm happy with that for now. All I'm going to do is quickly save draft again and show you the way it looks at the moment. And if we need to make any adjustments, we can start doing that. All right. Let's take care of the content now. We're going to add a series of blocks and configure them to ensure that we've got the landing page designed exactly the way we want it. So the first thing I notice is I have a hint here to put in the logo. So what I'm going to do here is just remove that and instead choose to put in an image. Now you notice this tiny add block button. We also have this constantly visible in this toolbar at the top. Let's click on that, and you could either search for the image, which is what I'm trying to add now. But as you notice, anything that you commonly use or you've used in the past turn up under most used. So there's a series of sections here: most used, common, formatting, layout, widgets, and embeds. That's how they've categorized these blocks. Since there are too many, there's no point trying to go through all of them at this stage, but I shall do so in a different tutorial. For now, let's just focus on putting in an image here. And all I need to do is just click on image. Wonderful. What do we do next? We want to insert our image from, we want to upload an image. Let's upload that. I'll just go quickly find an image. All right. I'm going to choose a white image because I'm going to now try and color this in white. Let's do that. All right, now you can't see the image. It is there, trust me. So I'm going to center align this for the moment. Now, before we proceed any further, what I want to do is create a nice wrapper around this text until basically where I want to point out. So notice this, I want to create this nice blue background. And to do so, I'm going to use one of the newer blocks that became just available recently, which is called the group block. Now, you will find it under layout, group. If you don't, otherwise, you can always search for it, as I'm doing now. Now, the group block allows you to set a background color for the moment, but the future is very bright for this group block, which is why I don't recommend going with page builders as much as you avoid them if you can. And the reason for that is because these blocks are going to improve over time. For now, we've got background color settings, which is what we're going to set. We're going to go, let's set this to a nice blue color. Now, the other thing you will notice is if I save draft and preview this, we see the background showing up. Let's drag and drop. As you can see, I have my image here. If I click into it, you can't see the image because it's in white, but I can click this handle in the middle and just drag and drop it and let go inside. All right. Now you can see that there's this image. So next steps, I'm just going to quickly save draft. The next step I'm going to do is ensure that this group, again, I can be in the image. As you can see, I'm in an image block. I can go up a level. Now, if I don't know where I am in this group, if things get confusing, I can always use this navigation tool to tell me where I am and move where I need to. So I can go select the group now. So with the group selected, I can ensure that the group is full width, which is what I need. Yeah. The other thing I'm going to do is drag in my text and put it in. So I've got a couple of options here. I've got 4 things that I want to drag and put it in here. So I'm going to just select these 4. All right. These 4 things. I'm going to go Command X or Control X to cut it. I'm going to go into where I need to position it. Now, if you don't get a cursor, there's an easy way to put a block where you need it exactly. I'm just going to go Insert After. Awesome. Now we're just going to paste. Yeah. I'm going to select all of these. And we're going to do some settings to these. The first one, obviously, is going to be our nice big heading. Since we've actually hidden our heading, so we don't have any heading anymore. Since we've actually hidden it, why don't we take care of this? Why don't we convert this into a heading? All I've done is modify, so you can transform or change a block into another block. And there are some blocks that are allowed to change into others. Particularly, you can change a paragraph into a list, or into a quote, or into a heading. Let's do that. Now, since this is the first heading on our page, on our landing page, let's give it the highest ranking. So let's choose a heading level 1. Let's also set this to center align and go to color settings. So you see there's other features here. I'm going to just go choose white, right? The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to choose this second paragraph, do the same thing, align center. I'm not going to change the background colors. I like the blue. I'm just going to set this text color to white. But I'm going to go up And you notice there's a font size option here. I could go to either medium or even large. The large seems to be a bit large. So let's go to medium and just adjust this to 24, right? So you can manually adjust. The next item on this page we want to put in is a button that says Hire Me, which I want to link to my planning page, which is basically a page, as you'll notice on my actual landing site. Hire Me takes you to a nice planning form, which is where the person can put in a nice business plan. They can create the business plan and I can send them a copy. And this is quite useful because it takes you through step by step exactly what you need to do before you create a website. So it starts getting you thinking about the website the right way. All right, so what we're going to do here, we don't need a paragraph here. So I'm going to delete these two. And instead, we're going to add, first of all, a button. Now, I do see a button here. I could just click on that. I'm going to click on a button. And the first things I'm going to do is say, Hire Me. Nice. And the next thing is I'm going to, again, center align. And then we're going to go through a series of styles. So usually with every block, you've got some settings right next to the block and some settings in the panel on the right. So take care of both. The first thing I'm going to do is ensure that I probably want an outline. So this gives it a nice outline. The next thing I want to do is I'm happy to leave it this dark color, which is what I've set through the customizer, if you noticed a couple of minutes ago. I'm going to leave the default to white and with a dark background like that. The first one thing I have to take care of is ensure that I am connecting this button to the right page. Now you could copy paste the URL, so I could go here, get this URL and copy and paste it there. Or even better, if you start typing the name of the page, yes, you can see there's my plan. It puts in the link. I don't need to bother about it. Now, a few more things to take care of once that I've created the link. A couple more options. One, I want to change the border radius and make this a nice square button. Yeah. Other thing, if I am linking to an external website or I want to open in a new window or in a new tab, I can click this button. And when I do, WordPress puts in the right code to confirm to search bots and Google that this is a no referrer. So it does the right things there. But since this is within my site, I don't want to put it in a new tab, and I'm just going to keep it as opening in this page itself. I'm not going to create additional pages. All right, next step, we can add an image. Before that, let's have a quick check of how we are doing. How we are progressing towards our dream of creating a landing page, something similar to this. All right, getting there. Looking nice. Yeah. Let's keep going. Let's add a nice image, one like this here. So let's do that. So how do I do that? So I could go here and say I want insert after, and I can start typing image. So there are multiple ways of adding blocks. This is another way. You just start a backslash and you start typing the name of the block. This is the quick way that I tend to use a lot. Now we need to upload the file, or in this case, let me see, I might have a copy of it on this site. Yes, I do. Just going to choose this simple image. I always need to set an alt text that makes sense for the image in this here. Yep, always set some alt text. This is useful for search engines like Google because they can't understand an image. The alt text provides that context to them. Now you could, once you've embedded the image, you can also see that it's available here. Yeah? I'm going to leave the image as just its in its default state. Now I could set it to wide width or even full width. But I'm just going to leave it to its default. I can untick to just set it to its default. I'm fine with that. Now you notice that the image size can be modified, and I can set it as a large, medium thumbnail, or I can set the width and height manually, or I can control in a percentage fashion. I can control the way it shows up. Yeah, just going to reset that to whatever it was. The next thing I'm going to do is, now I notice that the image is not aligned center. The same as everything else, let's just align center. Save draft, have a quick look. All right, looking good. Let's keep going. Next step, we're going to add 3 columns of information, which is what we need to do here. So the next step is to add 3 columns and add some images here. Let's do that. To do that, we can just add, again, as I hover, I notice that there's an ability for me to add a block. And this time, I'm going to go and choose columns, right? Before I do that, I probably want to just put in a spacer. What's a spacer? It just creates some padding between our content. And typically, it puts in 100. I'm going to go down to 32. Now, I'm using numbers that are proportional to my font size. I've set my font size to 16, so I'm just using double that as my padding space. That creates harmony. So we've set some spacer. Next, let's go in and create 3 columns. So having added a spacer, next step, insert before. Let's add our columns. Now you've got option to set up multiple layouts. I'm going to choose 3-column layout. Yeah. 3-column layout. And we're going to just click and drag this content. Now, how do we do that? You can simply either select the piece of text you want to move. And as you can see, when you do this, I can click and basically drag it where I want. I don't want it above. I don't want it below. I want it just in this column, right? I want to do the same thing for the next group. Click and drag. Next group. Click and drag. All right. Having done that, I also want to select this and just center it, all of them. I don't want to transform or to center. Yeah. Now you notice that you could transform content to something else. I made a mistake. I've copied some content that I don't need. I'm just going to go select that, Control X, go here, add another spacer, make that 32 again, and I'll put this after the spacer. Leave that there for the moment. All right, let's get back to our columns. Now 3 columns, and what we want to do is also add some images. And you've seen how easy it is to add images. I'm going to just speed up that process and add 3 images, and I'll see you shortly. Just give me a second. All right, I've added the 3 icons. I just uploaded 3 icons as images. And I've also center-aligned the text, and now I'm going to convert this piece of text into a heading, right? And I probably could go heading level 3 or even heading level 4. Let's do this. Let's convert all of these into heading level 3s. Another thing I noticed is I didn't center align them, I left align them, so I'm just going to do that made a mistake of aligning them. Oh, I haven't aligned them. That's good. Yep, let's leave them as default. I'm going to do the same for the paragraphs. I don't want to align them, not for this particular block. All right, so that takes care of this column of information. Let's continue. Let's save draft and quickly have a look. All right, there's a bit of spacing issue for this button. Let's take care of that. I'd also want to add a little bit of padding before this heading here. I'm okay with this. Yep, that looks fine. Let's start adding the next section now. All right, let's add a bit of padding and to make this look nicer. I'm just going to go back to my page, and in between these two, let's just add another spacer. Set that to 32 again. Let's do the same between the button and the image. Another 32. Save draft. Have a quick look. Much better. Much better. Now we're on our way. Let's set up these three images here. And so in a landing page, as we've seen, we've eradicated all distractions, and we do have a logo, but we've kept that without linking. Now I could have linked this back to my page, but I'm restraining myself from doing so because the only links out of this page, of a landing page, should be the ones that you want to target, in this case, hire me. So that's why the number of links and distractions are all removed. So no headings, no links, no menus of any kind, no sidebars, as you can see. Take full advantage of the layout. Provide reasons why they should take care of your services, or they should seek your services. So I'm highlighting these are my reasons. Then I'm going to provide some examples, and here's where I'm going to just provide some examples. And the same way, we're going to use again columns, which we've already seen how to do. Set up 3 columns, and we're going to create or add 3 images here, one by one. And quickly, I'm just going to go do this. I already have the images uploaded, so I'm just going to go to my media library. I'm going to go vitamins for all. That's good. This one. Next one, quickly go to media library and choose Manila. And the last one. And I've kept the image sizes small. Again, customize your images to suit the page. There's no point loading massive images. As you can see, these are like 600 by 400. And the reason for that is I'm not going to use any more wider than that on this screen. So there's no point loading massive images and slowing down your site. So always consider that for your web pages, you want to ensure that the site speed is quick to load. Your pages are quick to load. I'm going to add another spacer above here just to give it some padding, some breathing room. And let's add some titles. I'm just going to cut this, select this, and as you can see, there's an option for us to add captions. I'm just going to paste that. And I'm going to place my cursor here and press Shift Enter just to put this second section down under. And I'm going to do the same for all of them. Cut that, paste that, do the same, Shift Enter to put that down there. Get this as well, select that, and paste that. Now in this case, I'm not putting any alt text because I'm adding the same information as captions, but you're welcome to add more details if you can describe this picture for people who have disabilities, are unable to using screen readers or other kinds of assisted devices. alt text provides a lot of context for them. So do provide that. In this case, since I have captions which actually describe what they are about. Yeah, I don't need this anymore, so I'm going to just delete this block. And once again, I'm going to add another spacer. I'm going to set that to 32. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do, one thing I did want to check out is just quickly save draft and just preview that again, just to ensure that it looks nice and clean. Yeah, the spacing seems to be much better now. I'm noticing a band of white here. We're going to go back and fix that once we've done. We'll do some last minute checks. Yes, looking nice and clean. And the next step is to add a testimonial here and configure that testimonial to look nice. I'm going to go here and just with this testimonial, I'm just going to cut this bit because I want to add that as a citation. So I have my testimonial. What I'm going to do is take this paragraph and you can quickly transform it into a quote. Let's do that. And in quotes, I'm going to paste that citation back. Okay. This is Kylie, and she's giving me some good reviews, so why not present that? I'm going to again center line this, right? And in styles, I'm going to go to the large style, just to make this pop. All right, that takes care of the testimonial. Now I'm going to add another spacer now and set that to 32 again. Now, do I need to create this button again? Probably not. The reason being, I can just I have created a button here. Why don't I just duplicate that? And it's easy with blocks. All you have to do is just click on these three arrows and just go duplicate. Now with this done, I can keep click and drag down. I'll just move it down below this image so it's easier for me to drag down. As you can see, I can't move past because it's in this group. I've grouped these things, so semantically as well, they're now a group. So in future, I'm hoping that we'll be able to target these groups even better in terms of having images and background images and shading. It could do quite a lot. There are plugins to do that at the moment, but I don't want to, just for the sake of one feature, load another plugin and more style sheets and more scripts. So I'm going to just move it down just there, and then I'm going to just use the move down arrows, nice and easy, couple of steps to get where I want it, which is after the spacer, right? Or even after the testimonial. My apologies. There we go. All right. Now I'm happy to leave it linked to the same place. I want to just change the title of this button. I'm just going to copy that. Again, I'm going to leave it to the default colors. I'm happy with the default colors of the button, but if you're not, feel free to change that. I've set that to a lightly darker blue, so it stands out quite nicely. We're coming to the end, almost there. All right. So the next thing I'm going to do is add one more spacer to finish things off and set that to, again, 32. In this case, I want to link to, say, for example, policies or terms and conditions. I'm just going to set this to look like this. I just put in a pipe symbol, which is a key that's just above your enter or return key. I put the pipe symbol in. The next thing I want to do is ensure that I don't have any spaces here. And the next thing I'm going to do is align right, or I could align center as well. Next thing, I'm just going to change the font size to small. Nice. Then all I'm going to do is always have a policy page on your site, and there are huge benefits to that, just describing your privacy policy. All I'm going to do is just going to start typing privacy. I selected that text, I clicked on link in this button, and I can see that there's privacy there. All right, I'm going to press apply, Same thing. Let's do terms and conditions. So select your piece of text, click on link, and search for the page or post. In this case, there's my page. Apply. All right, save draft and preview. Now we haven't published yet. Let's have a quick look. Nice. Isn't that good? All right, let's clean up. Let's final clean up. Let's ensure that this white space, which is quite irritating here, let's get rid of it. Again, we're going to go to the customizer, which is available through this customize button in the toolbar. And we're going to go to, once it loads, we're going to go to layout, container, and you will notice down here we've got different settings in terms of layout options. I'm going to go to here and set this to 0. Right? You can't see this. Let me just minimize this. Yes, I've set the content padding to at the top to 0. What that should do, and I've also put the separating space to 0 to ensure that the content padding at the top is 0. Quickly publish that. Let's see what impact it has on the actual page. All right, we're going to close out of the customizer, and there we go. It looks like this is sticking here, but do realize that there's a nice blue band at the top. It's quite nice actually. So we are all done now with our page. I will be setting out more tutorials shortly, but for now we've created our landing page. Let's take care of a few final things. I'm going to go back to the top of my page because I need to take care of some document or page level settings. I'm going to go back to my title, click on my title, and I can see the document settings right away. Again, if I was in a block somewhere, I can always go back to, so if I was in the image, I can always go back to the document settings by clicking here. At the moment, we can see that we haven't published it because we've still we've just been saving draft. We haven't hit publish yet. I could publish immediately, as in here, or I could set a future date. Yeah. So if you are scheduling your posts to post for pages to go out at regular intervals, then this is what you would do. You would schedule to publish it at a later date. You could, for the time being, while you are testing and you want to share it with other people, you could either set it to private, which is where other editors and yourself can actually see the page, or you could password protect it so that only those with a password can actually see the page. In this instance, I'm just going to go, I'm happy with the page, I'm happy to go public. I'll just go publish. Yes, it's going to be public and it's going to get published immediately. Let's see, publish. Yes, so now YHWH is now live. I can view this page. Let's do that. Nice. No distractions. Everything exactly as we wanted. All right, so that takes care of a landing page design using just WordPress and the default block editor. Best of luck, and do comment, and I'm happy to help you if you need some support with this. So let's fly.